All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. All right, I'm the brother Dawadah with the brother Shakam. And, man, we're going to speak on this war, man. While everybody is worried about what the fuck Shannon Sharp got going on, what the fuck is going on in America, all right, we're at the cusp of World War III, man, on all, in every sense of the word, on all major fronts. So we're going to go through it in the spirit. And the Lord said that this will be going on. You know, actually, could you hold Matthew the 24th chapter as well? Mm-hmm. But let's go ahead and grab that, Ecclesiastes 3. And then we'll go to Matthew 24. All right, because, hey, there's a time to everything, man. All right. And contrary to what you silly ass Americans think, all right, yeah, war is coming, man. It don't matter what Trump is saying, talking about, you know, bringing Vladimir Putin and having peace talks with Iran, you know, trying to do a trade deal with China. According to prophecy, these nations are about to go to war. All right, you got it, brother.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
To everything, all right? There was even a time for these heathens to rule, all right? But now we're at the cusp of these heathens no longer ruling. Mm-hmm. And who's going to rule next? The true rulers, all right? The true sovereigns, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And the Lord is bringing World War III for this purpose. You got it, bro.
Mm-hmm. This verse, jumping to verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate.
Yeah.
A time of war and a time of peace.
A time of war and a time of peace. Are we in a time of peace? Even though everybody's speaking about peace, like it says in Thessalonians, it says, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. And brothers have been bringing that out for years. Yeah. And what are they talking about? And on the media, they're saying peace, peace, peace. But what do we see? Everybody's getting prepared for war. All right, if there was going to be peace, you know, like I've heard brothers say, they didn't make these nuclear missiles to be to go into a museum, you know, and collect dust. No, the Lord, like the scriptures say, the Lord created the smith that bloweth the coals and created the waster to destroy, roughly paraphrasing. He put it in the minds of these devils to split the atom and to be able to create atomic weapons and further nuclear weapons for the Third World War. You know, could you get Matthew the 6th chapter?
Matthew 6?
No, Salaki. Matthew 24. I think start at the 6th chapter or the 6th verse.
All right. This Matthew chapter 24, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
Yep.
See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
And this was Yahweh Shah putting us on game as for the signs that we would need to be looking for his return. Now, he doesn't know the exact day he's coming back. We don't know the exact day he's coming back. But he set up, according to the spirit of his father, Yahweh, what will be going on when he's about to make his return. Mm-hmm. And like the brother just read, wars and rumors of wars. Yep. Even the rumor of, like, when you get on Twitter right here, as you see on my screen, mm-hmm. you know, what are they talking about? This is all within the last hour and stuff. They're talking about rumors of war. They're talking about, for the last couple of weeks, they've been talking about Iran getting ready to go to war with Israel, which we know is going to happen at some point, but that's a rumor of war. These are all the signs on top of the earthquakes. Hey, brother reported there was an earthquake here today. There was an earthquake in Istanbul, Turkey, 2 of them. Mm-hmm. There was a major earthquake over in Myanmar that killed thousands of people. All right, wars and uproars of the people in the world. Earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, like it says in 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. All these things were set up for us to watch. The Lord said, "What? I said, watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day and night." Mm-hmm. So if you have prophets speaking about peace, could you grab Jeremiah the 28th chapter? Mm-hmm. If you have guys out here that's talking about peace, all right, they're deceived, man. They're deceived and being deceived. The Lord said, "What? Both the deceived and the deceiver are mine."
Yep. If I can, I want to read that in the NLT first. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. In the NLT, it says, "And you will hear of wars and threats of wars, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately."
Exactly. And why is that? Because you get these guys like Canadian Prepper who can make money off of, you know, understanding that shit is hitting the fan, and they be trying to sell shit.
Yeah, and they be trying to make it seem like nuclear war can happen tomorrow, like it can happen any day. The reason why it say the end is not yet, because we know that MOTB still got to come. But we're in that time where there's a lot of talks of wars. You know, like the brother was saying, you know, India and Pakistan. Oh wow. India and Pakistan going at it. Israel is at war on many fronts. America is at war with Yemen. China and Taiwan is on the verge of war, which would make the U.S. at war with China. So it's a lot of fronts going on right now. But we know the main event is over there in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, man. Exactly. The so-called Middle East. Exactly. That's where the main event is going to take place, because even the Russia-Ukraine war, that's coming to an end because Russia is pounding their capital right now. Yeah. And they're saying that Trump is saying that Putin wants to make a peace deal, but Zelensky, he don't want peace. Which we know what's really going on with that. Trump is trying not to take an L in this war. He's trying to get a victory out of it, but you can't get a victory out of it. But they're about to wrap that up, and that all that's going to do is keep all eyes, and all attention on the Middle East, man.
And I like this picture, as you can, whoever's watching this video, you can see on the screen. Elder Malcolm have been saying through the Spirit, the most bloodiest, deadliest motherfuckers on the planet are those that are these pale-looking Edomite men that have clean-shaven faces and that wear neckties, man. All right, these so-called diplomats. They got the most blood on their hands, as you can see, on this in this Chat GPT depiction of Bibi, man. Because he's about to be a part of what drags the world in the war, man. Like it says, the least of the flock shall draw them out. It says that in Jeremiah the 50th chapter. But could you grab that Jeremiah 28:8?
This Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence.
It says against many countries and great kingdoms. Does not America pride himself on being the greatest kingdom ever? Pretty much. So what? So if you're a prophet of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, what would you be doing? You would be prophesying against this place. The Lord said, what? I set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. And say, I'm against thee, O Mount Seir. Yeah. The Lord said he's going to stretch out his hand and make thee most desolate. How is he going to do that? Through the Third World War, when the nations, including NATO, including America's own allies, are going to shoot their thermonuclear missiles from the four corners of the earth upon America, Babylon the Great. Yep. That is how World War III ends. Yeah. But of course, like going back to what Yahushua said, the end is not yet. Why? Because like Apostle Tahar been saying over and over and over and over, hey, the sea hip got to come. Exactly. But we see that's here, man. Yeah. All right, they bringing up the conversation about the Neuralink, the left-handed miracle. So we know that the time is short. Yeah. And the Lord is preparing these nations. If you'll grab, we'll finish off in Joel the 3rd chapter. The Lord is preparing these nations for this war, and we know where this war is going to take place. But after this war pretty much kicks off, it's not going to be a long drawn out war. Even like this Russia-Ukraine war that's been a couple years now. We believe through the Spirit, it's going to get, when it gets jumping, that sea hip is going to be right at the door. And once it's made mandatory, the missiles can shoot at any moment, man.
Yeah. See, then we can expect Yahushua's return, which, he's coming in the midst of that before the nukes hit this place, because the elect got to be saved from that. That's the second death that the Bible speaks of. So, like the brother said, once that sea hip comes, then we know, okay.
That's the Spirit.
What?
That's the Spirit.
What happened?
Oh, damn.
Oh, it's talking about dropping bombs.
It's a thermonuclear missile.
That's the Spirit. Yep.
It says what? Humanity's worst nightmare.
And China just successfully tested a hydrogen bomb that's non-nuclear. So that's big, because this war is going to be a conventional war at first. Which, who was I listening to that said it? I think it might have been Scott Ritter. It was somebody. But they were saying that because nobody wants a nuclear war. But see, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua wants a nuclear war. But they know in their mind it'll be the end of mankind. Yeah. So they're going to try and resist it as long as they can. That's why it's going to be a conventional war at first. Yep. But you wanted Joel 3:9? This Joel chapter 3 verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
Exactly. Are we not seeing that? All right, because now Pakistan is about to go to war with India, and Pakistan is a nuclear power. They have nuclear weapons. You know, also that reminds me of the Houthis, how they're fucking up all these U.S. drones. Hey, and they're reporting on this. The American people aren't going to be comfortable with going to war with Iran if they can't even defeat the Houthis, man. Mm-hmm. You know, they can't resist the Houthis. They can't resist Hezbollah on the northern Israel front. You know, now they fucking Gaza up and shit, but that's because they trapped. All right, but once Iran gets this shit popping, once they get this shit popping with Iran, and all these nations pretty much join in because Iran is backed officially allies with Russia and China. All right, when you saw the lead up to World War I and World War II, there was alliances formed, and then once something popped off, all these nations got dragged into war. So through all these alliances, and right now it's it would be considered the G7 versus the BRICS nations. Now, who's a part of BRICS? Iran is a part of BRICS. Russia's a part of BRICS. China and India as well. Mm-hmm. You know, so lines are going to be drawn in the sand, and eventually, even the EU, like it says in Revelation the 17th chapter, the beast shall hate the horde.
Yeah, man. And we already seeing how that's going to play out because Trump is pissing them off, slapping tariffs on the EU. And the EU is about to come to a finalization deal with China.
Man.
So they're like, hey man, we need China. Because China is pushing all of their BYDs, you know, their electric buses and shit like that. They're spreading that through Europe, bro. So which the US banned all that from coming here because it'll shut Tesla down. But what's up? India has now cut off the flow of water to Oh yeah. It's up. And when you look at that region, Pakistan is, I believe, to the left. Yeah, it's to the left side of India. Mm-hmm. You know, and I believe Pakistan got nuclear weapons.
They do.
So does India got nuclear weapons?
Yeah.
Okay. So no telling what's gonna happen with this. You know, it could spiral, but you know. War is just jumping everywhere, man, because we in that time.
Exactly.
You know, like the brother had me start off with, there's a time and place for every season. We're not in a time of peace, man.
Nope.
Like the brother said, you motherfuckers stuck on Shannon Sharp. See, all these guys, when they do some shit like that, Esau makes sure he puts that in the forefront. Because for one, he wants to demonize Jake.
Yeah.
For two, he wants to keep you people distracted. The scripture speaks about whom the God of this world have blinded. Esau keeps you blinded from the truth, man.
Exactly.
You know, you people don't even know that this is going on right. You people don't even know what India is. If you ask one of these morons, what's Pakistan? Mm-hmm. What? Pakistan? Is that a food? You know? Exactly. Is that a type of noodles?
Yeah. They don't know shit, man.
They don't know shit. You Americans are and the other nations laugh at you. Yeah. You are the biggest idiots on the planet. That's why scammers, they pretty much, their main targets is Americans. Motherfucker be somewhere in Africa, somewhere in India, calling you from a text now United States number, scamming you out of hundreds and thousands of dollars. Because the whole world knows you Americans are stupid, man.
Yeah. Yeah, here it is. None of the American officials are telling people to prepare food or anything. Mm-hmm. But in Europe, they're telling people to prepare water. This is the actual military. Mm-hmm. Prepare water, prepare 3-4 months supply of food. Yep. But over here, and it's all by design because the Lord is going to fuck this place up the most, man. You know, it's going to take you completely by surprise. But of course, you might ask to the unbeliever, well, what are y'all going to do? We're going to trust in our power. Yeah. Because the same power that's bringing these things is going to deliver us from the famine and from the calamities. Yeah, we're going to see it. All right, but the Lord isn't going to allow that to touch us because we have been fervent in this work toward his name, man, toward exalting his name.
Scriptures say, touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm.
Yeah.
You know? So we going to be cool, man.
Yeah. But you finish that Joel 9 up.
Mm-hmm. So let me go back to it. I was looking for something else. Okay, I'm back. Verse 11, it says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord.
Yep, and that's why that region, you know, is important. All right, that's why we should be looking. They call it the Middle East, but it's really Western Asia, and that's where that war is going to pop off. Yep. The valley of Yehoshaphat, the valley of the Lord's judgment, because he's going to judge those heathens. He's got these heathens all gassed up, all riled up to go fight, and it's for Israel's sake, man. He's doing this is for Israel's sake. World War III is coming for the sake of Israel, so that America is going to be taken out of the way, so that Israel can finally rule. And we ain't talking about them small hats, man.
Right.
You know. But yeah, you can get what you.
Yeah. I'm gonna get the next verse real quick. I was looking for something else. Yeah, let me read this next verse. This verse 12. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Yep.
Because the Lord is going to gather all these nations over there in that region.
And burn
Ezekiel 38 speaks about, Russia going in there with their military, being a guard unto Orion, being a guard unto Egypt, because Egypt is going to turn on Israel. You had the president of Egypt, I'm thinking about Jordan down. What's his name? Remember he was out here twitching and shit? I'm mixing him up with the guy of Egypt. But Egypt has been doing military drills. They've been doing parachute drills and shit like that, which they're speculating they may get go into a war with Israel. And Ezekiel 38 speaks about Russia being a guard unto these nations, man. Because they're going to get involved because they just solidified their defense treaties with Orion, man. So they're going to get in. China is going to get involved because China got interests over there. China was the one that brokered the deal between Saudi Arabia and Yemen. So hey, it's up, man. So the Lord said he's going to sit there to judge all the heathen round about. We know Jehoshaphat is in the Hebrew Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment. Okay, so that's the time we in. All right, but I was looking for something. Never mind.
Okay, you'll grab Isaiah 9 and 5. We'll finish off there. Because like the brother mentioned, this is going to begin as a conventional war, but you see all these drone strikes, all these ballistic missile strikes, just like it's been reported. If you're watching, Russia they hit the hell out of Kyiv today, and yeah, they have ground forces and they're actually trying to take the territories, but they're able to send these ballistic missiles from Russia, into the capital, the heart of the capital of Ukraine. So this is how, the wars are pretty much about to be fight until it goes nuclear.
Okay, I got two precepts real quick.
Yeah, do you think, bro? You good?
This is Revelation. Hold on, where is it at? Oh, here it is. Revelation chapter 16, verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, which that river has been drying up, man. That the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Who's the kings of the east, man? Russia, China, Iran, North Korea. Okay, all these different king, because a president is just a modern day king. Which Kim Jong-un was a dictator. He's a king. Xi Jinping is pretty much a dictator. Putin is pretty much a dictator. But they're the kings of the east, man. And then I got one more real quick. Just to back up what we were saying about where this war is going to take place at, and because that's the main event, man. The whole Russia-Ukraine was just to build that hatred for the Russians against Babylon, man. And it served its purpose. Because Revelation, the 13th chapter, speaks about when it's breaking down the beast, it speaks about the feet of the bear, right? That represents Russia being the downfall of Babylon, because their icon is the bear, man, in Russia, But I'm gonna grab this piece up real quick and I'm gonna get what you want. This is Joel chapter 2 verse 20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army. This is talking about the United States military, man, because there's going to be a military draft. They didn't already sign between the ages of 18 and 25, I think it was. Remember that? I think it was 18 and 25. That pretty much, if they do a draft or they need numbers, you gotta go, man. It says, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate. Which when you look over there in Saudi Arabia, okay, over there in that region, it's nothing but desert, man. And the Lord has dried up the Euphrates River, which goes through Iraq, man. You know, it says, with his face toward the East Sea, which is the Euphrates River, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea, which is the Red Sea. Okay, it says, and his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. Because there's going to be a lot of dead bodies out there, man. That's why one of the first jobs is, I get confused, is either in Zechariah or Zephaniah. Yeah. I think it's Zechariah, though. Yeah. It speaks about how they're going to have to bury the dead, man. Yeah. Okay, that's going to be one of the first tasks for our slaves. Okay,
that's right.
But I got that Isaiah 9 and 5 real quick. Yeah, I just had to fact check that. Yeah, the Euphrates River do go through Iraq. Just had to fact check that. Okay, yeah, this is Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. Mm-hmm. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
Exactly. And as you can see on my screen, that's, this is the new state of war. They gonna have they got these battleships, they got silos that they can shoot these different ballistic missiles out of and whatnot. All right. And they don't have to walk up on you like war used to be. We always bring up 300, just yelling and screaming, and, you got bows and arrows and swords clashing and spears and all that shit. No, this is the new way of war right here. You got these different missile systems, you got defense systems and whatnot, and they gonna just be hitting each other up until the missiles drop, man. Yeah, you're gonna have ground troops and stuff. Y'all just cannon fodder, as it were. They gonna send you niggas and shit. You Chirac niggas, you O-block niggas and shit to the front lines just to be cannon fodder, because these other nations, they do have million-man armies. Their populations are so large that they can have these large armies. So, of course, America is lacking in that regard. Yeah, they have the military strength as far as artillery and shit, but they're going to need that manpower too. But this, like I said, this war, World War III, is going to be fought with burning and fuel of fire. Mm-hmm. And that went into the perfecting of Esau's blessing, which is the sword. All right, all the way up to the missile, man. So we're seeing it. All right, hey, war is here. Mm-hmm. You got anything else?
That's why I like the scripture say, one woe is past, behold, two more woes come hereafter. Exactly. Then it say the second woe is past, behold, the third woe cometh quickly, man.
And it's here.
The Revelation speaks about 3 woes, man. Okay? So World War III, this is going to be the war to end all wars. Because after this war, like the brother had mentioned, Yahweh Shai and Yahlet is going to reign, man. And there will be no more war. There will be peace. Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, all nations is going to flow unto us.
That's right.
And keep our laws, statutes, and commandments. And you Edomites, you're going to be working, man. You're going to be in a pit, man.
That's right.
So you ain't going to be out here bombing people. And you ain't going to come back into power after 1,000 years either.
Yeah.
You're going to be done away with, man. You're going to be Obadiah verse 18. But that's it.
Con, yeah, man. Hey, yeah, war is here. All right, so with that, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Once again, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. All right, Kwame Yasharallah, Wa Abba Babal, Shalom.
Abba Babal.